The next leaders we're going to bring up, guys, they changed the game in PHP. PHP was small. People thought they were competitive. People thought they were performing. People thought they were doing something big. And then all of a sudden, the most coachable people in the history of this company got recruited. And when they came in, they changed the entire game. They became the first $500,000 earners, first to 750, first to $1 million, first $1 million point base shop, and our first board counselor. Give it up, Sheena and Matt Sapaula. Grab seat. So before we get into talking about how you guys went from $0 to $1 million your income the fastest, first question for you, open-ended. What are you thinking about right now? What are you feeling right now? I mean, this is your, I don't know how many events it's been with us. It's only been 4 years with us, but what are you thinking and feeling right now?
Just to see what can happen in such a short period of time. When we first started, not believing that your dreams can really come true as fast as they did. And to see just the newest person in here have that same look on their face that I did when I first came to our convention. And just knowing exactly where our future is going to go. I can see PHP clearly taking over the entire industry. That's how I feel.
That's how you feel right now.
That's how I feel.
How about yourself, man?
First thing I'm thinking about is how thankful and grateful I am of you, the co-founders of PHP Agency, for creating an opportunity for us to stick it all out, for us to come in here. And our biggest thank you to you is this. Our biggest thank you to the co-founders of PHP is this. No matter what we do on the call out, no matter what the competition is just gratitude and thankfulness for this opportunity, because we know what it's like to have things taken away from you. And when you give us the opportunity to come here at PHP Agency, do this. And with that being said, I love the sound of being, because of this opportunity, a billionaire.
You like the sound?
I love the sound of that.
Really?
Yes.
You like the sound of it?
And it's going to happen.
That's good. I like it as well. I like you saying that. So, okay, so simple question. If I'm in high school with you, Matt, I'm sure so many people are curious, man. You're Filipino and you're 6'4", 6'5". So who was Matt Sapaula in high school?
Well, I was voted class clown.
You were voted class clown.
Yeah.
I'm sure many are surprised by that.
And I was voted
anybody here, raise your hand if you've seen Matt Sapaula's watch. Class clown, go ahead.
So class clown, goofiest laugh, but I was never voted to do anything.
You know what I'm thinking about? All I'm thinking about is when Mario came to me, Mario says, Pat, El Jeanette just saw Matt's watch. I'm like, El Jeanette did it? So high school, you're a class clown.
Goofed around, had no clue where I was going, and because I had no clue where I was going, that's when I enlisted into the Marine Corps.
In high school. Now, were you an athlete? Were you the guy playing sports?
I was an athlete. I went to high school in the Berwyn-Cicero-Stickney area of Chicago, of some more less. And so it's not necessarily a dream-selling neighborhood.
It's not.
No. And the only reason why I joined sports is because when school is let out, the Latin Kings will be spin around. Remember those socks back in the day? The socks that went all the way to your knee? Right? So they put a master lock for the lockers at the bottom of that sock, and they swing it around and hit everybody coming out of the school. I'm like, I'm not getting beat down with a sock and a lock. What sport is that? I'm trying out for that sport because I was 6'1", 6'2", 120 pounds in high school, so I wasn't a natural athlete, that's for sure.
Sheena, how about yourself?
I've always been too serious for my own good. I was an athlete all my life, and I was very good at just controlling my emotions and always thinking that every position that I ever had, I had to fight for it. But once I fight for it, I always had this sense of paranoia that someone's going to come and take it. So I was always felt on guard. And growing up, I'd always try to figure out why exactly my emotions were so controlled. And the only thing I can think about is my mom telling me what it was like for her when she was pregnant with me. I have a sister who's a year and a half older than me, And when I was pregnant in my mom's belly, the babysitter almost shook my sister to death. And I would talk to my mom about this experience and ask her how she handled it. And at that point, she couldn't be too emotional, because on one end, she had to fight in court for the babysitter who almost killed my sister. On the other end, she had to be a pregnant, mother. And she also had to make sure that the state was not going to take, her precious daughter away from her. And through that whole experience, just hearing her talk about it, it made me understand why I'm always constantly trying to earn some kind of respect, or, always understand I got to earn it. But once I have it, I always have to be paranoid in order to keep it. Very weird bipolar personality I have.
So post high school, what do you do?
Well, I was told the American dream is go to school. And my parents couldn't afford for me to go to school. I knew I didn't like debt. So I always fought to say, I'm going to earn it. And I got a softball scholarship, and I went to the University of Pittsburgh from California. I'm originally from California. Yes, I'm a California native. So, born in Santa Clara, California, raised in Sacramento, California. Yeah. So, the only thing I knew about snow was you go to Lake Tahoe and then you can leave. But in Pittsburgh, you can't leave snow. So that was the most humbling experience for me, because that truly taught me to be independent. I was really on my own at 17, a scholarship and all, but I had to fight for my position on the softball team. And of course, people, when you're fresh and new, people don't like the new kid on the block. So it's just the epitome of my whole life, just always having to fight and earn something.
So that stuck.
Yeah, it stuck to me. Mm-hmm.
What did that make you become?
I knew that in any position that I ever went into, I'm very aware that there's someone that's already been there.
Yeah.
And you have good people that will exert that authority on you. And for me, I'm always a person that, just like I tell my son, like, you're not going to define me. And I don't care how long you've been here or how much you've been here. I'm going to earn my way to the top, and you're not going to be able to take it away from me.
That's powerful. That is powerful. Matt, how about yourself? After high school, what do you do?
So I was in the Marine Corps literally 6 months after coming out of high school. Not only did I go through boot camp, Marine Corps combat training, but I found myself in the Persian Gulf War. I was in Persian Gulf War, 18 years old. I remember at 18 years old, they're saying, hey, Marines, get downstairs to the ship's library to sign your will and get your life insurance in order.
Sign your will.
Sign your will. And they were printing out a bunch of sign our will, 18 years old. Came back from that deployment, went back out with the 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit. It was a special operations unit with HMM-164, was a helicopter assault type of unit. And we went to Somalia, Africa, for Operation Restore Hope. And so literally before I was 20, 21 years old, I've been to 2 different major combat deployments, and come back as a corporal in the Marine Corps. And then when I got back to base, here's where I knew I was wired for some form of entrepreneurship and sales, is I realized that if I volunteered for what they call a meritorious promotion board, where I go in front of a board, present myself, they ask me questions, they go through my service record and see what type of Marine I was, I can get promoted. And so I realized I was money motivated. And so I like being able to be in control of my income. When I was even back on the base, I'd get a second or third job. Jiffy Lube was one of the jobs, and I was a bartender at the Officers Club. So I did something to do to just...
You were a bartender at Officers Club. Yeah. Somehow I can see that. How many guys can see Matt as a bartender at 20-some years old? A bartender at Officers Club. Yeah. So what did you learn from the military? What did that help you with your career afterwards?
The first thing would be learning how to deal with different people. Because in the Marine Corps, they said, listen, I don't care if you're white, you're black, you're brown, you're yellow, you're purple, you're one color in the Marine Corps, and you're green, right? You're green, right? You're either light green or you're dark green. Wow. I don't care if you're from Kentucky, from Detroit, from New York, from Puerto Rico. I had a lot of Puerto Rican Marines when I was in the Marine Corps. They turned me on to salsa. We had salsa in Okinawa, Japan, of all places. These Puerto Ricans would do nothing but, hey, let's dance some salsa. Da, 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 da. It was crazy. There's just all sorts of madness. And I realized that bullets and bombs have no bias or prejudice, and that we needed to work together as a unit. To go out, do our job, and come back together as an organization.
Wow, so working together as a team.
Take it as a team.
And obviously you're amazing at doing that here with the company. You're phenomenal at doing that. One of the best examples, if not the best example. Matt, how did you get into the financial industry? How did that go from Marines to financial industry?
So it was completely by accident. So I was a single father. I just went through a divorce, taking my boys, because this is before cell phones. I was going to get my pictures developed at the local Walgreens. 1 hour express service. I went down to the Best Buy. I was in Southern California, Oso Parkway, exit 405. There's a Best Buy there. And I am taking my boys to the bathroom, and somebody interrupts me. And Patrick, listen, if I don't know you and you're another guy, this violates a man rule. Like, if I don't know you're another dude, don't talk to me, right? And so he starts asking me questions. Hey, you a Marine? You know, because obvious high and tight. He says, no, I can tell by the way you walk. Okay, definitely you don't say that to me in the bathroom, right? He interrupted me, and then he knows by the way I walk, I'm a Marine. But then he asked me some profound questions. So what are you going to do? Are you going to be a Marine? I said, I'm going to be a lifer. I love the Marine Corps. Right? Because we're programmed to do that. I'm going to do 20 years. I'm going to do my time. And they said, well, I'm just curious. Do you like money? I'm like, yes. He says, do you like a lot of money? I says, absolutely. So what are the rules of the money game? He says, I have a job in the Marine Corps. He says, that's not learning the rules. Anybody can get a job. But if you like money and you don't know the rules, then you don't really like money. So he's challenging me on my understanding. Yep. So if you want to learn money and how to have an alternative career outside the Marine Corps, here's my card, and let's connect. I run a financial firm in Anaheim off of Brookhurst, La Palma exit, and let's have a conversation. Come down to my office. And the crazy part, Patrick, I never called him. Never called him. It was in my breast pocket the whole time. I wanted to call him, just never had the confidence to do that because I said, what do I know about the financial industry? I don't have a background. Matter of fact, I just went through a divorce. I'm absolutely broke. Who am I to help people with money? But he not called me to follow up with me 3 months later to tell me that he's coming to base housing. He just wanted to drop by. I wouldn't be here.
Wow. And that's how you got into the industry.
That's how I get to the industry.
Amazing.
Yep.
So, Sheena, how about yourself?
Well, it was. I guess you can say it's by default. I met Matt by chance. I work for a great company, Stryker Medical, and one of my hospitals, I sold hospital equipment. One of the hospitals was the hospital that his mother was a nurse at, and she's been a nurse at for 40 years. So I was there one day, and that day was the same day he happened to be there, and the rest is history. And he would be going to these events and be talking to his guys on the phone, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, is this your job? Like, you're having fun? Because my world is like you answer your BlackBerry, after 6 o'clock. And so I finally went out and said, I want to check this out for myself. And I looked at it and I said, I went to a convention. It was my very first time. And I looked in the audience, and I'll never forget the visual that I saw was a room full of the most minorities I've ever seen at one time. Because I came from a corporate world where I was a minority. But in this scenario, the majority were minorities. And I said, I just want to be a part of this just purely by the fact that I see that visual. Like, that's a big deal. Because I think more people, because I'm going to have kids one day, and these kids are going to be minorities, and I want to be part of something that creates that kind of an environment for my own kids to say, hey, I can be a part of this. So that was the rest of it.
That was the rest of it. Now let me ask you, how did you guys get together? How did that happen?
Well, his version's different than mine.
Let's hear both of them. How did it happen?
So I went to go help my mother during Nurses Week, and I was helping her do a financial workshop for the nurses. And I'm setting up. Of course, I'm naturally late. She keeps me short on time. I get there, it's supposed to be at 8 o'clock, get there at noon, right? And I just thought that nurses wouldn't be able to see me during normal shift time. You see me during the lunch break. That's what I thought. That's how I was processing it. And so I look to my left, and I see Sheena. Boom. So I said, all I saw was hair, right? I saw her, like this profile right here. That's what I saw. Like, damn. And so I looked to the, right? Right? I love her profile. This profile right here, I love this profile. And so I was setting up with the doctor. He was doing a health stress test, and I was doing a financial stress test. And I said, listen, if you're not going to, he was single too. I said, if you're not going to talk to her, coin flip, go talk to her. And I went up to her. I said, excuse me, miss, they're feeding people. Would you like to get some food? She says, that's okay, it's just for the nurses. Right? It's for the nurses. I says, so right, I'm prospecting, right? So I'm qualifying. So what is she? What is she? Because I eventually learned sales. And when I learned sales, which is a skill set that you always talk about, I had confidence. I had zero game in high school. because I learned entrepreneurship and sales, I had some game, right? So I was, oh, she's not a nurse. So I said, well, then what is it that you do? She said, oh, this is what I do. What's that? I sell hospital beds. Oh, interesting. Oh, I didn't know somebody sold hospitals. She goes, what do you do? I was like, oh, I'm here with a doctor buddy of mine. We're doing oh, are you a doctor? Is she trying to qualify me after she gold digging?
What's going on? Asking.
Right? She says, ask. And she says, no, I'm not a doctor. And so, you know, the chiropractors have that scale, that spine in the hips. So I picked it up. I said, I'm not a doctor, but do you like to be manipulated?
You literally said this.
He literally said that. He said that. Yes, he said it.
Yeah.
Well, it worked.
And you remember that.
Oh, because typically my personality, I would have been like, slap somebody. But I laughed. That was my initial reaction. So, but what he doesn't know is I saw him before he approached me. And I don't remember his face. I just remember this feeling that came over me. And I was like, what the heck, Sheena? I'm like, get over here. It's like, why are you feeling like a little high schoolgirl right now? And so I was so nervous because I literally thought that, okay, I found the one because I've never felt that way before, and I think I found the one. And I was like, please don't approach me because I'm so nervous. So when he approached me, like the only reason I was asking questions is because I was just deathly afraid I would say something I would regret because I was so nervous. So it was good. It worked.
How quickly did you guys go on your date? Was it pretty quick?
No, I wanted to wait. So I was a single mom. And this is the first guy I would have ever entertained to actually date just because I was so protective of my son. So I wanted to wait a week because I knew that my initial reaction was, this is a hot guy and we're all in emotions right now, but I want to make sure this is substance. So I forced him to wait like a week because I wanted to kind of test out how serious he was. So I left the hospital, and within 20 minutes he calls me. And this is how you know Matt likes social media, because he's like, his version of calling me was, can you FaceTime me? I mean, I just met you. So he
I want to see her again.
I was just like, no, you can't FaceTime me. And so he would call me for a week straight, every morning, in the middle of the day, and at night. I was the last phone call. Seriously, for a week. So that's what got me right there.
Every day in the morning,
Persistent,
middle of the
yeah,
day, and
very
at night.
persistent.
Wow. Legit, respect. So when did it get serious?
I think when we went to Hawaii, or before that.
I think for me, what really sealed the deal was seeing how he was with my son. So when... That was good. I think I knew he the one because I come as a package, and that little boy is the world to me. So when I saw that he loved him just as much as he loved me, I knew that was my final decision.
So you guys, did you start the business together at that point? Or are you guys doing a business together or not yet?
About 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, not so much. I mean, he was in the industry already, and he was established. And when I started, which is like, I understand when couples are in business and trying to work together, it's so important that you build your identity separate. So I would go in there and just try to do my own thing just to see, if I can really do this, without depending on anything from him. And I learned a lot about it. And at that point, right when we were getting it going, we were starting to work together, is when, the worst happens. We got everything taken away from us, and I didn't agree with it, I didn't like it. But I understood at that moment, because I remember being so crippled by what happened to us, and I didn't understand it, but I knew that one thing I did trust is that nothing happens without a reason to it. There's a purpose for it. And I would remember when we had that, fateful meeting, that meeting I'm talking about. And once we got home, and once it sank in that, what are we going to do? Nothing. They just took away everything that we just worked for. They just took it away, and it caught us so off guard. It took the rug right out from our feet. And I was so angry because I earned that stuff, and that was ours. And I was devastated because I'm looking at one end how are we going to take care of our son and our family? How are we going to do all these things? And I couldn't even take the pain. It was so dreadful, that pain that hurts so bad that you literally feel like you lose entire hope. And I was going for 3 days straight, and I remember him on the phone, and he'd be like, we're gonna find what our thing is. And he'd be on the phone just calling and calling and calling. And every conversation he had, I was like, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. Because I knew the next decision that we made was so critical. And then I remember I just couldn't take the pain, and I went to the bathroom, and I got down on my knees, and I said, Lord, I'm gonna trust you on this one. It hurts really bad. I'm trying to trust you. And I just need you just to give me some relief in my heart and just tell me that there's a sign, like there's something that you're pushing us toward for a bigger purpose. Please just give me a sign. And I'm not lying when I say this. Literally 2 minutes later, you called him.
Wow.
2 minutes later, you called him. And it, and it wasn't just you calling him, it was the conversation that you had. And it was the culture we're looking for, the environment, the people, everything was it. And the mission, the crusade, it was just everything was aligned. And then the biggest game changer was you actually wanted my opinion on something, which, before it was just kind of Matt. And it was no opinion from me. I'm just there to, stand next to him. But no, you said, no, my voice mattered. And then you actually had Jennifer Bet David, and Jennifer called me, and I'm like, wait a minute, like, you mean you're an actual couple that works in the business? You guys each separately have your own thing? I said, that's it, it's over. I said, you give us an opportunity, we're gonna make you pay for what you did.
Crazy. You guys, you absolutely changed the game with the company, but my question for you was, Matt, you were looking at a lot of different things at that time. I know I was in Atlanta when you and I spoke.
Sure.
You sent me a message on Facebook, and we jumped on a call. We had been introduced by Dudley Rutherford, a friend of ours. And what made you want to choose PHP over all the other options that you had? Because people were wanting to get you guys to go to their company. Why'd you choose PHP?
It's funny, friend, Army veteran, Richard Love, he says, you know what, I've been talking to this guy, and he's at this company called PHP. You might want to check him out. And naturally, I Googled PHP and did some research, and I realized, oh, that's Patrick Bet-David. He connected me. Okay, no problem. I shot you a Facebook message. Literally within 30 minutes, and then she prays, and then you call me. And so what made me, I did a video, 10 reasons why I chose PHP Agency. And I would say the major difference would be, one of the first questions I asked you is, number one, can I brand? Because I realized that in today's marketplace, there's two brands. That's your company brand as well as your personal brand.
Right.
And I wanted to make sure that I can attract people based on my personality, based on my brand, to build the company that I'm building, right? And so the first question I asked right away, within a half of a second, you said, absolutely. You come over here and you co-brand. And then number two, you double it down with saying, by the way, we have stock equity ownership over here. Here's something you can own. You just don't build a brand here and build a company. You can own a piece of this, right? And then the third one was the multicultural diversity that she felt very comfortable with. Because every time we Google companies, the cultural and ethnic demographics of the typical insurance would be a 70, 80-year-old Caucasian male executive.
Yep.
And every time I'd call, sure enough, there's the voice. And then when you called, I remember her on the couch because she was filling up the pillows with tears on the couch. I had you on speaker. And she picked her head from the couch. She goes, babe, I haven't talked. Ask me this question. Babe, I think that's the one. I don't know what it was. Her discernment, I don't know. That's the one. And so, and the fourth thing I would say, it's probably a God thing. I don't know what it is. Is that pull? Maybe it's that hand in the PHP logo just pulling me to PHP. Maybe it's obviously,
But I remember the first time we did FaceTime, Sheena was standing in the back, and I think Rich may have been somewhere as well. With Karen was there.
Correct.
I remember Karen was there. And Sheena's just looking like this, like, who is this guy? And she's looking at me like a detective. And I'm like, I'm going at it. And from there, we established a relationship, and you guys went from where you were at. Now, one story is, I remember we were in Dubai, okay? And I called you guys, and I said, listen, you guys do the following thing. We're going to figure out a way to get you guys to Dubai. You flew out to Dubai, brought a couple of my friends. I was telling my friends, there's this couple that's here that I think they're going to do good things here. And he says, oh, really? I said, yeah, these guys are doing great things. I said, let me introduce them to you. I said, these are the guys. He says, Patrick, you sure they're going to do good things? I said, yeah, I'm telling you, they are. He says, buddy, earlier, we were in the elevator with them, and it was so awkward. They were screaming at each other the entire time in the elevator. We couldn't wait to leave. We thought they were going to. I said, what are you saying? He says, Pat, I'm telling you, this was on. So then he brought it up to you guys. He said, we were in the elevator with you. It was very uncomfortable. So when you guys went to Dubai, where were you at that time when you went to Dubai with us? Financially, in every possible way, emotionally.
The crazy part is we could barely afford a free trip, if that makes sense. What the heck is that all about? And we land in Dubai. We go to the Atlantis. Like, sweetheart, we made it to Dubai, right? We're at the Atlantis. Everybody's checking it out. Everybody, for me, coming back there, everybody looked like an Eric B. and Rakim video, right? Everybody's driving Lamborghinis, the chic gear. And, babe, let's get a martini. She goes, babe, we don't got it. We don't got what? We don't have $20 to buy a martini to celebrate our arrival in Dubai for this company page. She says, we don't got it. We're waiting on a direct deposit. So let's go up to the room and drink some water.
Like he was so. No, this is where opposites are perfect, because he was like this visionary that always spoke the future, and I'm more the realist that lived in the present too much, which is not always a good thing. So he was like, oh, we're going to Dubai, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, but we don't have money. Like, I want to make sure we make it back. So he said a really profound thing. He said, we need to go just to fool ourselves on what our future is going to be like. That's what he told me. And I said, I'm okay with that. I get that, because I need to fool myself right now too. Because looking at that bank account was not making me feel better. And so we went, and I remember what made me so upset, because we were checking in the hotel, we were waiting on this direct deposit. You guys had called us down. We're gonna go as a group to hang out with, people that I was like, oh, there's people that are successful here. Like we gotta hang out with them. We gotta sell the dream, and we can't show this side of us that we're really broke. And he had found Kahindi Thomas at the hotel, and they went into the guy's spa area. And if you know anything about Kahinde and Matt together, they can talk for 5 days straight. So they got caught up in the moment in the guy's spa, and I couldn't get a hold of him. And I said, we need to be downstairs. So he comes finally back. They had spent like hours talking and chatting and just having a good time. And so I'm balancing the fact that we had no money. I didn't know where we were going on a group trip. I didn't know if we had to pay for something, so I was panicked about that. And then my husband comes in. He's just happy, carefree, no worry at all. I wish I could be that way. And so I just like let it loose, like everything that was inside of me, which is not okay. You just take it out. I just didn't realize those were your friends on the elevator.
So let me ask you, prior to coming to PHP, what's the most money you made? What's the income you made the year before coming to PHP?
I think it's
We're just scraping like
about two.
$200,000.
$200,000. Just barely getting
before
there.
coming here, like $160,000 to $200,000.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Then you came to PHP. What happened after that income-wise? Year 1, year 2, year 3?
Magic. Just, you don't understand the power of an environment, and to have mentorship examples of someone's telling you that actually did it themselves. And I honestly didn't believe it at first. You said, Sheena, you don't believe it. You don't believe that you're going to make $40,000 a month. I was like, no, I said yes, but I was saying no. And then I said, you know what? I'm just going to listen to exactly what you tell me to do. And you were the first person that basically said, you need to, Sheena, actually participate in the business. It can't, just be Matt. You have to do it. And you told me, reach out to the ladies of PHP. And that was really profound to me, the environment of seeing other strong women actually participating in the business. So calling Marlene and talking to Ceci and helping them create my identity. I got on the phones and I started to say, you know what, this isn't as hard as I thought it was. And that's where I truly developed my niche about what role I was going to have in this business. And then combining with the skill set of my husband, I just started to see magic happen. It was beautiful, beautiful.
I remember my first conversation, hour-long conversation with John Mason, hour-long conversation with Jason Graziani, hour-long conversation with Palayo, deep, long conversation with Jose Gaitan about our fast start schools. We never did fast start schools before, or how to onboard new entrepreneurs. And so when we came over here, this is something we never did in the previous 4 years of our former company. And then even for myself, doing a independent agent career, the most amount of money I made as an independent agent around $300,000, $350,000 a year. But 150 would go back out for direct mail campaigns, would go spend $150,000 for seminars at a restaurant. So I really netted 100
As a personal producer.
As a personal producer. And so coming over to a building system and then obviously coming over to a PHP building system, the biggest thing we experienced was culture and leadership. You're guiding us in things that we didn't know what our blind spots were. I mean, we realized that we're shooting from the hip because you came to our office and you asked all of our guys, how do you do this? How do you do that? Who did it? They had all different answers. It was less of an embarrassment on them as it was on me because, geez, I'm doing a bad job leading my guys in standardization to create duplication. And when we came over here and you coached us how to do all that with the blueprint over here, we went from $208,000 in our first year. Second year, $646,000.
Net income.
Net income, take home. And then within 38 months of us coming here, we hit 7 figures. I haven't looked back ever since.
38 months.
38 months.
And what's amazing is, what's impressive about your business is this year, we are what? We're July 31st today? Tomorrow's August 1st, right? July 31st, 2019. Yeah. Every month this year, you have done $100,000 a month. Yeah. Your minimum wage is now $100,000 per month. Isn't that amazing? Make some noise for these guys. That's phenomenal. So the last question I'll ask before we wrap up is, Sheena, you know, you guys have 5 kids together. You have a family. You know, you're running your business. He has 2 beautiful daughter twins that are at an age where men are looking at him and he's trying to do his thing to make sure he's not, being too overprotective, but he's, got his protection going around. But how are you guys making it all work with running a business, with 5 kids? With Jordan being born February 23rd, which is only 5 months ago. How are you guys making all that work and you're still growing your business?
When you have a family, when you have people that are depending on you, and you're sitting there telling them you could be anything you want to be, nothing can stop you, and you look at yourself and say, well, if I'm going to speak that to them, I need to speak that to me first. So for me, I had to break down a lot of barriers, a lot of misconceptions about what it means to be a wife and a mother, that I'm supposed to be this way. I'm supposed to only work from this period of time. I'm supposed to be the only person that raises our children. I'm supposed to be at home making sure that the laundry is done versus being in the working environment. So I made it a mission that I wanted to just reshape the definition of what it means to be a working mother. I badly wanted to do that because I feel fulfilled when I'm working, because I'm not working a job. What I'm working is a purpose and a vision for a lot of women to have more control over everyday decisions that I didn't have control over before, but this platform, this business, this opportunity allows me to do. So the way I look at it is anything is possible with help. And instead of me thinking that I need to do everything, I just started to realize I need a lot of help. I need an army of individuals. We have amazing I have amazing in-laws. I have amazing parents. I have amazing nanny. I have amazing staff of assistants, Karen, Robin, and Puebli. And I have an army around me that says if I'm not doing it by myself and I have all of them, they make me look really good. And anything is really, really possible as long as you set your mind to it. That's how easy it is. I just learned I needed help. I need a lot of help.
Wow, and that allowed you to build your business and still have the personal life as well. Matt, what would you say to that?
That would be it. It's just identifying our roles and understanding our strengths.
Yeah.
Making sure that we didn't buy into the whole work-life balance type of thing to try to keep the balance. Mm-hmm. Last time I checked, when we started this business, our checking account was imbalanced. And so the work-life balance wasn't working out that way. And so there's work-life integration, work-life harmony. And it's also know that we can come to a convention like this. My in-laws are here. My parents are here, our nanny's here, kids are here, and that's how we involve them in what we're doing. And the most awesome thing about what this business and entrepreneurship and capitalism has allowed us to provide is 2 things: economic mobility, to go from broke to ballin', scratch to success, chomp to champ, right? With your guidance and leadership. And the second part about it, Patrick, is being able to say, you know what, regardless of my experience, educational back, whatever case may be, capitalism allows us to say, you know what, I can do all these things if I work hard enough. Yep. And if I work hard enough at the right things with the right infrastructure, with the right coaching and guidance and leadership, then this is something that I can manifest my thoughts. And because most people want to get somewhere financially, they just don't have a plan. Most people want to get somewhere financially. How many times we crumbs about how much money do you want to make just to be comfortable? Great. What's the number? Don't know. You don't want to get there because nobody's ever asked you those type of questions. You ask us those questions. You challenge us to not. And by the way, that's the reason why we're here today is because you keep challenging us. Is to have somebody in our corner say, you know what, don't get some. I remember I was telling this to Ricky and Erica. I said, you know, the first thing we heard from Patrick when we made $500,000 a year, Patrick says, great job. You're starting to make some good money, but not great money. Right? It's okay. And I'm realizing, wait a minute, 1% income in America is $464 a year in $464,000 a year in Illinois. We're making half. We're not making good money. But you never let us get satisfied, and you wired us to not let money identify and define us. What helped define us is the people we're able to transform and to develop and be able to impart what we've learned from you into them. And we're just not the only ones making money at our firm. We have a ton of guys making money in our organization. And they're making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. The funny thing is, making $30,000 a month in our organization, you kind of feel left out, like you're left behind, and it's very uncomfortable for them to be in our environment. And it's a weird thing to make in a month what most people make in a year, but yet people feel uncomfortable here. Why? Because we're always challenged to discover the next best version of ourselves.
And that is why we're so excited to see what you guys are going to be doing next. Guys, make some noise. Sheena and Sapaula.